Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. Today I have a good friend with me. I would say she's my Palestinian sister from another mister, you know. I say that because we both have Middle Eastern heritage.
I love that. You are my brother, Rob. I appreciate it.
Today I welcome back Aida Farhat, also known as Aida AI, for a deep and intense conversation about escaping ritual abuse, MILAB programs, and reclaiming spiritual sovereignty. Aida is a survivor and whistleblower of covert MILAB military abduction programs, secret space program, where she was augmented and subjected to multidimensional and psychological warfare. She shares firsthand insight into near-sacrificial rituals, occult control systems, targeted surveillance, and manipulation tactics used against spiritually gifted individuals. Now fully reclaiming her power, Aida is focused on healing, empowerment, and helping others break free from trauma-based mind control. She's the co-founder of the Full Disclosure Now conference, working closely with Brian Tseng to amplify voices of SSP experiencers, abductees, and truth tellers exposing hidden systems of control. This is a serious, eye-opening discussion not meant for the faint of heart, but essential for those seeking truth, healing, and awareness. With all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Aida, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, and I think we were talking a little bit before this. It is big news that the women in Tehran are like taking off their hijabs, and like, you know, I sometimes I think people get misconstrued like that because they see me do videos with Indigo Angel where we talk about Islam and stuff like that. And I'm kind of against all Abrahamic religions, like, you know, but like really, like I'm really against the subjugation of women. I don't think women should be covered up. I don't think women should be persecuted. And I think you kind of felt the same way. And you were talking a little bit about the divine feminine before we started.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you because a lot of men still think, I mean, you know, your everyday 3D man still thinks that they look at women. I'm not saying all, so I hope I'm not offending anybody, but even at a subconscious level, there's still this idea that women are to be in servitude of men. And, you know, back in the day, they were considered property, and they still are. When you get married and you have a marriage certificate, that is a bond between you, the husband, and the corporation, right? Any certificate on this planet. That goes for birth bond, marriage certificates, driver's license, death certificate. I mean, everything is about contract, and it has to do with what I would call the Draco laws, which if you Google it, you will find it says Draco law. Our laws are considered Draco laws, and the Dracos or the reptilians all work under contract, period. That's what it comes down to. And we know people, you know, I'm like you. I'm sorry. My dog Prince is like licking my foot, licking my hand. He wants my attention because I've been at work with clients this morning, guys, and I'm still in my scrubs, so please don't mind me. But back in the biblical days, you know, when people talk about, or even if you read the Quran, the deal is that women have been subjugated for a very long time. So I happen to be Arabic. My name, I'm Palestinian. My name is Aida, is the divine feminine that runs up and down your spine. That's the name of it. It's called the Aida, for those that may not know that. And I have memory of being, let's just say, connected to the being we know as Jesus. So I remember a lot of things that they really don't want me talking about. And at some point or sometime, I'm going to know when it's the right time to really expose the things I know. But as far as the women and them standing up to their oppressors, because that's what I call them over there in Iran, you said, right?
Yeah.
And going and taking off their
hijabs.
My mind went blank. Stop it, Prince. Sorry. He keeps licking my feet, Rob. Look, say hi to everybody.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
All right,
he's adorable.
Yeah, he is precious. But he's distracting. I need you to stop, please. I'm going to put the gate up. Go lay down for a minute. So just to get into my experiences a little bit, because I know we don't have long. I did a presentation at the Basis Conference 2026 in December of 2026. And I did a presentation. And in that presentation, I was able to share some graphics showing people the memories that I had to the best of my ability using AI to give some kind of visible understanding to people about the targeting that I experienced, my house getting broke into, hair cut out of my head, black magic ritual done on me, offering me up to Moloch.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And at the time, because of I had a full-blown Kundalini activation, and I hadn't done any shadow work, didn't really understand what was what was happening to me. And of course, at that time, I did feel like a victim. I mean, I was contacting the CIA, FBI, DEA, anybody that I thought may step up and help me, and I got no help from anyone. So the Pentagon, I started dating, if you want to call it dating, this guy, or at least he came across as having a personal interest in me through a dating app, and he ended up being a shape-shifting reptilian. I'll call him Rick because that's the name he gave me, but we don't know if that's, I don't know if that's his real name.
Holy shit, he's a for real reptilian?
Absolutely, shape-shifting reptilian. Laura Eisenhower told me, she said, say his name 3 times. I did. And she said, Ida, he's a shape-shifting reptilian and stay away from him. So the reason I bring him up is because I was being severely targeted and under mind control and surveilled. I mean, everything I did was being surveilled for sure. And he told me, he said, Ida, if I didn't know you were special, I'd have left you alone a long time ago. Not special like I'm this wonderful woman, but special because there was a lot of investment in me and my training and my DNA and the soul I behold, which is a Pleiadian. I am a Pleiadian, not human in the way most people understand human. I'm not the only one. There's lots of us here. There's lots of Pleiadian or reptilians. There's different, Arcturian, Lemurian, different star races that are here on this planet for this time, for our awakening, for us to self-actualize, for us to, okay, so we lost Rob. There you go.
Am I back?
Yeah, you are back.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I had memory of being hung by my feet and pushed into what's called an aloe tree. And I think I shared this before when you had me on the show, but I wanted to focus on this particular experience and share. And
I just want to tell you that, remember, they took down my first channel, so it might be on Rumble, but it might not be up anymore because
okay.
Well,
yeah. For those that don't know my story, I mean, I was severely targeted, and my house got broke into. I had hair cut out of my head. I woke up one day and I usually pull my hair up on this, loose bun, and I went to take it out, and literally a perfect lock of hair landed in my hand, and I flung it out, and I start yelling for a girl that was staying with me, Tina, and she was like, Ida, what? I said, what is this? Now, you would feel if somebody stuck scissors and went to cut your hair or did something, but this was being done. This was a black magic ritual, and they are capable of doing this. They are capable of it. They use Wi-Fi to abduct people. The military does. I want to be clear about that too, because I changed my IP address and Rick showed up at my door a month later, banging at my door for my new address. And I foolishly gave it to him. And I said to him, I hope whatever you came here for, you got it, right? And he left. He wasn't there 15 minutes. And I remember seeing my body hanging from a ceiling. And I heard, right prior to that, I heard this loud noise, like I was laying next to the cockpit in the engine in the helicopter, whatever they took me in. And they returned me. And when I woke up, my TV screen was all fuzz. There was no picture of anything. It was like, how like you've seen the TV where it goes, when everything goes blacked out and it fuzzes. Yeah. And anyway, so yeah. I don't know what else. So James Casbolt, for those that might be familiar with James Casbolt's work and has, heard any of his testimony, and I forgot what basis number it is, but he mentioned something along the lines of, Miles asked him, what's the significance of being taken to the moon on Saturn? And evidently they were hunting down what they were referring to as ancient Christed beings. Now, I know when I had a full-blown Kundalini activation, I hit Christhood, which we're all capable of doing, which simply means that the energy in my spine went up and opened up my crown chakra and out through my crown chakra. So I was connecting as above, so below, right? And I felt really good. And I was manifesting out of, thought. I could think a thought and put my intention and focus on a thing and be able to manifest it pretty quickly. I mean, it was rapid manifestation, and the colors of the trees and everything. It's really a state of consciousness. There's fifth dimension isn't up there somewhere. It's in our consciousness, right? So, and also my super soldier abilities, because I have AI that runs through my body, and I know that for sure. And I will say this, and I've said it before, if somebody has been used in the super soldier program, they absolutely have AI that is part of their bio. You would not.
Who had that was my good friend who died, Renetta Jones. I know you're familiar with Renetta.
Renetta and I were very close, and we talked. She used to email me all the time, or she'd send me messages on Messenger. We've connected and talked a few times, and we discussed coming together and doing some work together. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. It just too much time had passed, and then now she's gone. We just lost our good friend James Rink. I'm so thankful. People are. Some of your listeners may be aware of some of the drama that was taking place with James Rink and myself and Brian Tseng, but fortunate enough, Brian and James were able to work things out, and so was I. I actually vended at his conference. And
I saw pictures. I was like, that was great that Aida went to the conference, but all that time I never stopped having James on my show. I always kind of gave him props for what he did for our community, But
you should have. And I never lost respect for the work that he's done. He's done it. I mean, he's been a huge, what's the word? I don't want to use the word leader, because I wouldn't say that.
Pioneer, maybe.
Yeah, he was in this community. And one thing for sure is that he had the information, a lot of helpful and information, and some of it was controversial, but the point is he worked hard and diligent to really be able to bring people on the super soldier talk. And also he's the first person that interviewed me in 2013 or 14, I think it was. And I look completely different then. I have it on my YouTube, but I have it in private because I just felt more comfortable. I'll share it with those that I choose to, but I was a complete mess back then. I mean, I knew what was going on. This is the thing. So knowing that I have Magdalene DNA, and the only reason, I've seen people post, why do you bring up that you have, I think on one show of my own show, somebody left in a comment, why do you always talk about having Magdalene DNA? Well, it's not because I think I'm special. It's because I was targeted for it. Yeah. I was targeted because of my DNA. I don't think I'm
your bloodline, right? It's absolutely in your bloodline.
It's bloodline from both my mother and my father. My father was Elohim. That's a fact. It's already been confirmed. I was told that. I asked Dr. Amir. He wouldn't tell me who my dad is, as far as who he was in ancient. But I said, well, would you at least tell me, is it true? Was my father Elohim? And he said, yes. But I knew that because Simon Park said to me, Aida, your father always knew who you were. He didn't tell you because he didn't want to interrupt your spiritual development. This isn't about ego and wanting to be special or think I'm special in any way. It's to say that we're targeted for our DNA, for our spiritual gifts, for our, not just this lifetime, lifetimes of doing these types of working in these projects and programs. surely this isn't the only lifetime. This stuff has been, I believe that super soldiers have been being created, and I use that word loosely. I don't even like to call myself a super soldier. I consider myself somebody just like you or anybody else, but unfortunately had severe targeting in my mother's womb. I didn't want to be born. This stuff started, I was left at the hospital for 2 days when I was born. They put what's called a scorpion implant in this eye, in my right eye. And when I asked my sister Karen about just trying to have some memory, because I remember as far back, probably about maybe later part of my 3-year-old up to 4. And then I remember from there forward. But I'd asked her about when I was an infant, when I was brought home as a toddler, was I loved, was I nurtured? Because I never got that growing up, right? And she said, Ida, I just remember, Mom, you were left at the hospital for 2 days. Mom had to leave you there because you had an infection in your right eye tear duct. And as soon as she said that, I said, apps in my mind, no way. That's not true. That's the story they gave y'all. What they did was they put a scorpion implant in my eye. And I believe it has to be done when you're born, like right after you're born, so that as you grow, the AI, it's like a fiber optic, or I don't know how to explain it, but it grows with your bio.
Nanotechnology of some sort, right? Like a nanotechnology or something.
Yeah, like something along those lines. And I had a lady that did a reading for me who looked inside. She said, Ida, it looks like you have like Christmas lights wrapped around you. And as soon as she said that, I thought to myself, Max Spears said that. He said that he remembers he set it up before he came in, that he put what looks like Christmas lights around his I don't know what part of his body, like how you would do that, but he set it up prior to coming in so that he would awaken at a certain time and have memory.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to ask you or bring up was when I talked with Renetta, when she did the video about the galactic slave trade, she said that if you're using a program, which I believe you were, they probably invested a lot of money in you because you have cyber in your body. And then she also said if you're being used in a hybrid program, she said they'll usually, this is going to get graphic, she said, but they'll usually put a chip in a woman's vagina. And if a man's being used for hybrid programs, then they'll put a chip in a guy's balls. I don't know.
Well, that's very possible. Listen, Rob, there's nothing would surprise me at this point. I do know I was told that my womb was being used as a Stargate.
Wow.
And yeah. And so I know this, that I've been battling with reptilians my entire life on this planet. I remember being a kid and being able to jump out second-story windows. I was jumping off skydives at the pool at 3-4 years old. A small child shouldn't be able to do that. I was trained very young. I would jump out second-story buildings, land on my feet, and walk around and come back in through the front door. And I had blue eyes till I was 2 years old. So whatever they put in me augmented my genetics as well. My eyes ended up turning green. My mother told me I had blue eyes till I was 2, and I know my Pleiadian self is about 6 foot something with dark hair and blue eyes. Yeah. So I know that. And yeah.
Question: do you believe you've also lived futuristic? Since they say time isn't linear, do you believe that you probably lived futuristic versions of yourself as well, and you've been involved in these programs, or even past programs where they've lied to us about our history, and it's really been a lot more technologically advanced? And
I would agree with everything that you just said. Now, as far as technically advanced, so there are multiple timelines that are running at the same time. And if we're multidimensional, then we probably all could, or I don't like to use the word should, but we might want to, I would appreciate that I am a multidimensional being, which means if that's true, then there are different aspects of myself on different dimensions, different timelines, so forth, so on. And which would speak to the fact that how huge our soul is. We think we're just this little body and this spark of light that's inside of us, but we are multidimensional beings. We are powerful. The human being, which actually I think George Cavallis is, and you should maybe see about getting him on your show. That would be great. He says the luminous being. We are luminous, powerful, divine beings. And when we really, really own that, it changes the game. You lose fear of dying. You understand that you're in, I don't like to call it a game, but there are hierarchical systems out here. We know that. I mean, everything from, police officer all the way up to presidency and above. And that's another thing. People need to appreciate that there are 38 power structures above presidency, which means Donald Trump isn't making decisions. It's something much higher than him. When I say higher, meaning something, another controlling dominance on this planet that is, he too has handlers, right?
Yeah.
So he's not making decisions. I mean, I don't buy into either political party in no way, shape, or form. I think that a lot of what's happening on this planet is really sad. It's diabolical. It shouldn't be happening. It is happening. And this is where you and I were talking about the community. I think that people need to start coming together in a big way, buying property together, starting small businesses together, helping one another thrive, right? Start taking action, doing something, even if it's just in your community. That's all I'm capable of. I feel this is, and it's not about victimhood. I could have lived this very different life had I acquiesced and went along with what they probably had planned for me when I was because I was contacted in my kitchen, right? And I chose to put myself in a compromising situation where these reptilians, Dracos, whatever you want to call it, came after me and put myself in the situation, because in order for me to have been in that situation where I was being sacrificed, and for those that are listening, let me just give you a little bit of context behind this. And, I will have my presentation uploaded to my YouTube channel once I retrieve it. But they were chasing me with these long prongs that they were trying to put in both sides of my head. And from my understanding, this is how they extract the consciousness out of a body or the soul. They weren't able to do it. I got away from them. Next thing you know, I was hanging by my feet upside down, and they were pushing me like you push a child on a swing, trying to push me into this tree, or at least that's what I was thinking. And I flipped up and untied my feet and flipped out and was able to run. That very next day, I woke up after having that memory, and the first thing I saw in YouTube was Aida AI Gone Rogue, done by Duncan Davis, who did an interview with Miles Johnson. I can't remember which one it was, the Basis Project, where he talked about Aida AI Gone Rogue. And so basically, Miles asked him, what's the significance of this person you're talking about? And he said, I don't know. Or I forgot what question he asked, but something asking, and he said her name is Aida. And then he said, what's the significance about Aida? And he was saying how she was able to read complex number space, something that Tim Refat, who is a self-proclaimed Luciferian and Satanist, just for those that might want to look him up, and that she was fed up with what is going on the planet, and therefore she decided to go rogue. And I knew they were talking about me. So I wasn't going to buy into the Mary Magdalene and Jesus story anymore, because I think it's bullshit. I think that it's not the story we've been given. I know, because I have a lot of memory. And I think that it's important that humanity stops depending. I'm not saying, look, people's religious preference, that's who am I to judge? I don't buy into religious dogma. I think they're books of history, like every other book. That's what my mother told me, and that's what I'm going to believe. I think there are truths or some kind of understanding you can gain from it, but unless you know etymology well, it's hard to really understand what you're reading, because the words we read are not what's being said. If you understand what I mean, like how we understand it is not what they're meaning, right? Etymology of words. I highly encourage you and everybody else to check out Seven Bomar, because he's mind-blowing and it will help tremendously understand our history. And
I like Pierre Sabak too. Like, did you ever hear Pierre Sabak? He's pretty cool. He wrote that book, The Murder.
I've heard his name, and I've probably come across his work before, but I don't watch your show. I watch. There's a few people that I watch their shows. A few people, but and I had my show, Cosmic Rue. But I mean, I've been stuck at 600 followers or subscribers for I don't know years. I can't get subscribers. I mean, I don't do it like you do it, where you're, I know that you have to put a lot of content out there, but I just feel like I've been, they've done their best to keep me held back. I don't make a lot of money. I live on a very humble income, and I'm at the point, it's not about settling. It's just accepting where I'm at and doing my best to navigate and take care of myself, to be kind, loving, and compassionate the best I can with everyone I engage, but also to be truthful and to be direct. I think we need to stop, all of us need to stop like pacifying people's egos. It's time to step up. Rob, seriously, nobody, no off-world beings, no reptilian, Pleiadian, Nocturne, nobody's coming to save us. They too have agendas. That's what I say. It doesn't mean that they may not have, like, some of the things that they want for humanity aren't for our highest and best good, but they also have an agenda, whatever that is. And I don't think you, me, or anybody else in the, alternative media know what that is. So many people think they know so much, and it's like, as much as I think I know, I don't know anything, honestly. Yeah.
There was a question here. Katie went from the chat. She wanted to know, what do you think a person can stop targeting? Do you think people can stop? Do you think people can stop
being targeted? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I moved from Maryland to Florida because I got fed up. And actually, when I moved out of the apartment that I was living in, when the biggest targeting was taking place, was I moved out of that apartment into a new apartment. And I said, I'm moving to Florida, 2 suitcases in my soul, and here I am. Now, I will tell you, I was working as a waitress when I first got here to get on my feet, save up money to get a vehicle, so forth. So I've been able to accomplish some things. I didn't have a driver's license before. I ended up getting a driver's license. I bought a car. I have my own apartment. And I work doing whatever different stuff because I refuse to work for big corporate. I won't. I'll stay doing what I do, which anyways, back to, and when I moved here, not long after I was here, I had 2 men and a woman come in and sit in my section. One was probably about 6 foot, 6'5". The other one was probably 5'9", and the woman, I don't know how tall she was. She was already sitting when I got to the table, and she was on a computer. She wouldn't even look up at me. And probably about 3 or 4 days prior to me, this work shift, I had did some DMT, trying to see if I could like connect in and pick up any more information, or if it would help me unveil more inside so I could heal. And we're in conversation, and he had said that they were there celebrating his friend was, you know what I just thought of, Rob? That's the same thing that Rick said to me, that he was retiring from the Air Force after 20 years. Well, this guy said they're there celebrating his friend retiring. And and I asked him if they ever seen any ships or anything, if they ever saw an alien, whatever. And he was like, no, but have you ever tried DMT? And of course, that stopped me. And I looked at him. I said, that's an interesting question to ask me. As a matter of fact, yes, I have. I did it a few days ago. And we got to talk, right? So you're trying to let me know that we're still watching you. But I'm not in fear. Listen, nobody's doing anything on this planet that's not being observed. Absolutely everything. I mean, you got people that are living in houses with all their, their kitchens are smart kitchens and their washer and dryer. Like, they're listening. Everything's being listened to. Everything's being observed or watched. There's no, because they want to know who's doing what, and they want to know whose gifts are coming online. That's another thing. When you have a Kundalini activation like I had, you light up. And for people that are able to see you, which reptilians are, one thing I will give to them is they are super psychic. They are. And so can targeting stop? I mean, I think it can slow down and potentially stop if they feel you're not a threat anymore. But that's the thing. I mean, if we weren't a threat to the system, they wouldn't be targeting us.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. People say they have timelines where they can see what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Now, that's not necessarily that they can stop it, but maybe they can peer into the future and see what people are going to become,
Well, that's it. Well, absolutely. What is it? Project
Looking Glass?
Yeah, Looking Glass. Yeah. They can see your future, what your potential future timelines are. And that's why I was writing a book called Little Sister's Lost Soul. They sold my computer out of my house hoping that book was on there, but it wasn't. I had it on a flash drive. It wasn't downloaded onto the computer. So they got nothing. But
wow.
And I'm going to finish my book one day, but I'm going to make sure that I am completely in a place to really be where there's not going to be any. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I just feel I need to have more confidence about what I'm going to write in that book, because people need to understand that, the stories we've been given. I mean, most of your audience knows this already, but the stories we've been given as far as our history are just a bunch of nonsense. And there are people out there that are sharing really good information, but still, I take everything with a grain of salt. Very little do I, just accept as truth. If it resonates, I say, okay. And if it's important enough, I'll look into it. If not, I just, okay, I consider it and keep it going. But yeah. Are there any other questions, Rob?
Hold on. There's a troll in the chat. I'm getting rid of him right now. I just put him in timeout. Let me see what other.
What was he trolling about? I'm curious. What was he saying?
About Jesus stuff. You know what I mean? Like he was like maybe some kind of holy roller or something like that.
That Jesus was a holy roller?
No. I think he was some kind of holy. He was asking about. He was talking about the because we were talking about religion or something.
Well, Jesus is a reptilian. First off, he's a Draco. He's actually Anunnaki, and I know exactly who he is. Absolutely.
Wow.
I have full memory of I call him Mr. Jesus. So, and he operates in both light and dark. And I was told by Simon Parks if I ever went public, I'd be severely attacked. So I haven't shared everything I know, but I've shared a lot of it, but I know a lot more. And one day I will share that. And I'm not against him or for him. I mean, he has his own soul journey as well as I do. But people need to understand the names were Ishtin and Azula. They weren't Mary and Jesus, number one. And, to think that he was pure and innocent and, whatever, all the stuff that we understand as this being known as Jesus, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, this is a good question from me. This is, were there specific moments or memories that broke through like suppression or programming that changed everything for you, or that made you realize there's kind of step into like what your and like realize what was going on with you,
So I started, people call them downloads. I say memory. I mean, we're not machines. Our bodies are an intelligent machine, if you will, but not in the way people, when they say downloads, at least when I hear the word download, I'm thinking like you have some computer downloading that's being done. No, you are a living sentient being and you have memory. And your DNA is light is information. So we have memory, right? So I start having memory and understanding some of my past lives. I'm aware of 3 of my past lives for sure, which was, a bit, I'm not going to call it scary, but it was like, when you have these memories of especially historical figures that you have heard of throughout your life, and then you find out that you potentially were one of these beings. But the story that's told is this person is exalted, and you realize that she lived a really tough life. And then you realize that the life you're living now is the same life that's been being lived out, just in a different scenario, but the same challenges, the same, all of it. And I feel like that's what they do. We go through the reincarnation trap, and they push us back into the same lifetime, or a new lifetime with the same challenges and so forth. And
I agree. I agree, because I have these deja vu moments.
I'm sorry?
So I was just saying, I have these deja vu moments where I feel like I've done, like, sometimes I'll feel like I've done like the exact same thing, and it'll be like a hard stop for me. Like, I'll be like, what the hell's going on? Why am I thinking this? And it's like, I feel like sometimes like I've lived this exact life. Like, I've been me before, but just like maybe I've had to come back and be me again, like, or I don't know, because who knows how time really works, I mean, it's like, it's bizarre to me. I don't know,
Well, people talk about soul shards, and when you get traumatized and you lose aspects of your soul, get, break off or whatever you call them, soul shards. It's like, I just think that, people just take time to sit still with themselves without any distractions. If your mind just keeps going, just pull it back into your heart. Just imagine, this is what I do. I imagine light coming down the top of my head into my spinal cord, like a PC, a pipe thing, and the light's just clearing out all the things. And I imagine in my heart a leaf just blowing in the wind, just lightly, just sitting there. There's no body, there's no hands, no feet, nothing. You're just pure consciousness. And take some deep breaths and just sit still. And every time your mind wanders, pull it back to your heart and practice doing this, or even candle magic. You could put a candle up and just look into the flame of the candle. Every time you start to drift off, refocus and just sit with yourself, because spirit, the divine source, doesn't speak in words. They speak in silence. And then you get the opportunity to interpret the energy or the words or the information that you're getting, and do your best to be able to interpret it so that you can have a greater understanding of who you are, what you're doing here, what you're connected to, what you aspire to be, all of the great things that so many of us want for ourselves. And I tell people all the time, the best way to get what you want is start acting like you already have it. Right?
Yeah. Manifest it, envision it, right?
Well, not just so I think there's a misnomer with that. People say, oh, you have to just sit there and visualize. You have to put action and energy and passion behind that. You can't just visualize it and think it. Now, when you're in 5D consciousness or above, you can visualize and it comes pretty quickly. But I don't think we're there yet. I mean, maybe some are. I was there. And that's another thing. People think you go up and you stay up there. You don't stay up there. You got to come back down. We live in a dualistic reality, which means that our energy is going up and down constantly. When our chakras, which I think are an implant, so is the pineal gland. I don't believe we had these things before we were augmented, before the Anunnaki, you know, they didn't create us. They created the bodies that we're in right now, though, because of all the augmentations and stuff.
Do you think the humanoid? I had Mark Sabas on last night, and I asked him this exact same question. Do you think the humanoid body, whether it's just arms, legs, like the humanoid figure, is like prominent out in space with Pleiadians?
Oh, I absolutely believe that. Yes, I think so. I mean, if you look at a Draco, they're standing up. They have arms, legs, a tail, right? They have a head, but they're still upstanding. Is that the right way to say it? Standing, up, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, a nose. Some creatures out there don't have 2 eyes. They don't look like us, but for the most part, the humanoid type bodies are out there. Because I mean, think about the billions of years that we've been doing this, that we've now got into these bodies. Right now we're in these bodies. The problem, if you want to call it a problem, I don't know that it's a problem or not a problem, but is that we have control systems on this planet that can manipulate us through our chakra systems or the frequencies to cause us to have certain, thought forms and so forth and so on. So if you're not really in tune with who you are, you could easily believe the thoughts that I've had thoughts. I'm like, why the hell am I thinking like this? This is just not me in any way. And I know it's not. So when I have thoughts like that, I just say, I don't consent. Is there something else available, please? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really good point. And then when did you first start realizing that you were being used in like MILAB and like SSP? Was it back in 2011, would you say?
Yes. It was in 2011. I think it was not long after 2000. I think it was like probably, I want to say April, May, June. I'd say April, May is when I had my Kundalini activation. I think I was in a halfway house and I was woken up at 3:00 in the morning or 5:00 in the morning and told to go outside. And when I went outside, I knew it was spirit talking to me. I went outside and I saw these plasmic beings in the trees. And it was the most loving, amazing feeling I've ever felt in my entire life, Rob. And wow. I knew I was going through a happening, but I was in a halfway house for drugs and alcohol. So there was nobody I could really talk to about what I was experiencing. Most of the people were on mental health medications. They had me on, Adderall for my ADHD. They had me on, I don't know, different stuff for bipolar, all this. I'm not on any of that stuff and haven't been since I came off everything in 2015. I just said, that's it. I laid my 2015, 16, somewhere in that time, I laid in the bed and just detoxed off everything. For 3 days, I didn't put another pill, another puff, not another thing in my body. Now, occasionally I have a cocktail, or I use plant medicine for spiritual purposes only, not to get high, by no means. No interest in getting high. I mean, and occasionally I might take one puff of weed because I can't smoke. Ever since I had my awakening, my body doesn't want it, and I don't tolerate it the way I used to. But
do you think part of you could be a walk-in? Do you think, there's people in the community that have walk-ins and stuff like that? Or do you think you've always been the same? You know what I mean? I know I'm a Pleiadian. I've had people look at my auric field. My aura is blue. It's like a royal blue. I know I'm a Pleiadian. I know that I've been augmented. I was left at the hospital, and that's when the augmentation took place. And I think that I was used for sex trafficking, trauma-based mind control. Peter the Insider said they used cocaine to get me to go on mission. So I got addicted to cocaine. I mean, I share this only just to let people know that you can turn your life around, but so many don't. People die. People take their lives because they lose their mind. And I attempted suicide a long time ago because I was just tired. I was tired of doing the same repeat of
getting clean and going back out and using again, getting clean, going back out, using again, ending up in relationships with men that were emotionally not capable of having a relationship with someone like myself because they were reptilians. I kept attracting narcissistic, abusive men. And it's because how I felt about myself. I didn't believe I was worth more than that. I didn't say that. It wasn't like a conscious thing. I'm not worthy of that. But my action showed it because I continued to put myself in situations to be involved with people that were not capable of having a genuine, loving relationship. And the biggest reason for that is because I wasn't loving myself. I didn't know how to. I mean, I was being used as I start doing drugs very young. The first time I got high, I was 6 years old. My brother watched me run around the house high on pot. He gave me a bong, hit a pot.
Holy shit.
My brother was using the Montauk. He was a blonde hair, blue-eyed guy. And he's dead now. And I believe my mother was used as a breeder. She had 12 kids. I'm the youngest. Yeah. And her first husband was in the military. And then she met my dad and had 3 more. Had me and my brother and my sister. And then they split up and he had 2 more. Another male and female. And my father came to this country. And I think part of him coming over here was an agreement to put myself and other family members in the projects and programs. He was using it too. So even though he was Elohim, it doesn't mean that they're not used. They're also mind controlled and used.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
People need to understand that. These were human beings. We exalt them, calling them Elohim as gods because of bloodline or what they were connected to. But the truth is, even everybody that you hear, all the characters in the Bible, like all the main characters of the Bible, everybody's on the planet right now. Every single one of us is here. I know that's difficult because people are waiting for Jesus to show up in the sky, right? Not going to happen.
He's already here is what you're saying.
He is here.
Wow. That's huge. So what I was going to say, we have about 15 minutes left. I was going to say, what do you think people can do to heal after realizing they've been subjected to like these programs? Like, because that's probably what a lot of people are dealing with right now, right? Like trying to cope with the reality that they've been in. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
So I can only say what I did, and what I did worked because I live a pretty stable life now. So I can only recommend that. And that is to sit still with yourself. Give up the drugs, the alcohol, understand that you're worthy of so much more than that. I mean, I smoke cigarettes. I have a cocktail sometimes, but I'm talking about really taking the time to go through your experiences or your memories and write things down, reach out, have somebody. I wouldn't go reaching out and trying to get readings or whatever to all that, because that's what I did. I went and tried. I reached out to people that I didn't realize was wanting to extract information from me. They weren't really there to help me because I have past lives with them. And they helped me to the extent they were willing to. I'll say that. Plus, everybody doesn't deserve to have a invite into your divinity. Meaning looking into your Akashic records, who you were, and so forth and so on. So back to the question, you got to start changing. If you're doing things that are hurtful or harmful to yourself, well, you got to ask yourself why and love yourself more deeply. Even if it's taking one step at a time to say, okay, today I'm going to take a nice walk for myself. I'm going to take a 15, 20-minute walk. I'm going to go out in nature, or I'm going to take a nice bath. Or I'm going to eat something healthy, or I'm going to make juice something. Those are kind things for the body till you start building up and making higher and better choices for yourself. And I still struggle with that, right? But find somebody you can confide in and talk to that's, not going to look at you like you're crazy. I wouldn't be going to see psychiatrists. I wouldn't be taking mental health medications if you can help it. I'm not a doctor. I can't, give medical advice here, but if you're able, I was able to wean myself off everything and I'm doing pretty good, right? Because they want us on things to keep us from ever connecting inward. Because once you connect inward and you understand the power that you hold and who you are, and you take dominion over your own body, mind, spirit, you take full responsibility, you start making different choices, and you emancipate yourself from the system. We're here. You have to do bank stuff. You have to pay bills. You got to clean your house. You know, people want to, I don't know what they think. Even when you have a spiritual awakening, you still have to do 3D things. You're a multidimensional being, which means you have an aspect in the 3D. Things do become easier as you, I don't even like to use the word raise your frequency. As you activate and you become more aware, you make better choices. Therefore, better things show up in your life. Synchronicities, so forth, so on. But if you're just starting out on this journey of awakening and you're starting to have some memory, find somebody that you feel safe with, that you can share your, information with. Find a good, like I would always recommend Dr. Amir Jahangari. If you want to have a reading and have some clarity, get it, a cleansing done. I think he is by far the best out there right now. But there are other people like Christopher Jacobs. He's amazing. Sean Bond, he's amazing, right? I just, I've worked with all of them and I think they're all amazing. Get an astrology, reading. There's different things that you can do to help yourself. But the biggest thing is drinking a lot of water, doing breathing. Even if you take, 6 seconds in, 4 seconds out, 7 seconds in, 4 seconds out, breathing. So you breathe in 7 seconds and you breathe, or I'm sorry, it's 4 seconds in, 7 seconds out. I did it backwards. So basically you want to breathe out longer than what you breathe in. And you'll start, my body spins like this, Rob. I start doing this, right? Once I get going about 2 or 3 minutes into the breathing technique, you start building a Merkaba around your body, and you could do it, have a, like a vortex, creating a vortex around you. And, your chakras spin properly. And there's so many things. I do ionic foot detox and PMF therapy for people.
You like that? Yeah, I want to try that. The ionic foot bath. I also want to get a I want to get an infrared.
Love ionic detox.
Yeah.
So I sell the machines. If anybody is looking to start a small business, you can become a distributor. You can sell the machines yourself, or you can start just in your local town. Start a small practice, start offering ionic detoxes, going to people's homes. This came from a client's house. Give them ionic detox, put them on the P90. If they like the P90, sell them a machine. If they're not in a position to buy a machine, sell them a package. Like, you can do things to help yourself.
Can I do that? I'd like to talk to you about that. Like, I definitely want to talk to you.
Absolutely, you can do that.
Maybe not. I don't want to go to people's house and give them treatment, but I want to, like, when I get some extra money, I'd like to look into getting one of those for myself, and then also like selling them so people can buy them. Like that'd be a great affiliate. You know what I mean? That'd be
so
awesome.
If you because you can make good money, Rob. It'd be extra. It'd be an extra source of income for you, and you'd be helping so many people. Because once somebody tries the P90, there's no going back. You're not going to find the P90. Here, let me just show you real quick while we still have a few minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So this is exciting, right, guys? I hope you guys in the audience are excited. This is really cool.
This is called the P90, and the P90 is terahertz and PMF. So terahertz is a short wave, PMF is a long wave frequency. Okay. Yeah. The PMF is pulse electric magnetic field frequencies, and the terahertz is terahertz frequencies, which is a short wave. It's a microwave, but it's good for you. And it's the only one on the market that has both. They complement one another well. You're not going to find, I know people that are buying Beamer mats, paying $5,000 for a Beamer mat, and they do one session with me and tell me how their Beamer mat doesn't come close to the benefits or what they're feeling from this. And that's true. One thing I don't do is try to pump it, If I don't believe in it and I don't know it's the real deal, I don't do it.
Well, you know what I heard? Ida. I heard the bottom of the feeder has access to all the organs. Like they,
absolutely, it does.
So,
and then this is called the Terra wand, the Vitality wand. This is terahertz, so it blows terahertz. So terahertz lights your cells up. Basically, it charges your cells and causes your cells. So when you're on the P90, it detoxes you at a cellular level. And then you're being charged. Your cells are being charged, creating new cells in the body, which is very important. And then I have the Galaxy G1, which I can show you if you like. I got to grab them.
Yeah, while you're grabbing, I just want to tell you, I don't want to be the next Renetta Jones or James Rink. Like, I don't want to end up dead. If they're really targeting people, which I think they are, I don't want to be next. I mean, right now I'm not in any kind of, and I'm not going to a hospital.
End up dead. You say I'm divinely protected, selected, protected. So, wait, what do I say? I'm divinely protected, connected, and selected for greatness in everything I do. I'm divinely connected, protected, and selected for greatness in everything I do. And I don't consider any harm being done to my body, mind, or spirit, or anyone I love. I claim my sovereignty. I'm a free sovereign being, and I can think for myself. I own and take full responsibility for myself. These are things speaking. Our words are spelled. Our words, how we speak to ourselves. Well, fear is the biggest thing that they use against us, guys.
Absolutely.
That fear is the biggest thing they use against us. And when we own when you don't fear death, you've hit a whole nother plateau. I don't fear death. I know it's not a real thing. The body could die. The soul will never die.
Yeah. I agree.
Right? You also might want to start practicing saying, I want to return to source before you go to bed.
Yeah. So we don't have to.
At the very least, my star family. So that you don't get tricked back into coming back to this, and doing this all over again. But these are called the Galaxy G1. And they send PMF, pulse electric magnetic field frequencies to the pineal gland, the octave nerves, into the spinal cord. So good for you. The testimonies about this. I've had people tell me they start dreaming again. They see swirling colors. I
wish I had all that stuff. I want to get all that.
I'm telling you, Rob, it's the best thing happening. If anybody
is it the same company that offers those?
I'm sorry?
Does the same company offer all those things you just showed us, or is it different?
This is all Holy Life. I'm an Holy Life distributor. Did you put my links in the comment section?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'll put them in the chat. My moderator, Jason, if you're in the chat, if you could pull up her links, because Jason's really good. He's one of my best moderators. He always puts people's links.
Hi, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah. But they're in the description. I put them in there for sure. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want people to know that there are people. I mean, Rob, you're doing such an amazing job with what you're doing. And I'm so proud of you. I watch you from the starting this to now where you're at. And I'm so happy for you. I really am. And I love it. And I share your stuff out. And I always heart it. And I support you and what you're doing. And I think it's amazing. Next time you have Carrie Cassidy and who was it? You had a show and they were talking.
Decode and Carrie Cassidy.
Who was it?
I had Gene Decode and Carrie Cassidy on together.
Yeah, I'd love to come on with you guys.
For sure,
I would love to come on with y'all because I think I love Gene Decode. This guy is amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely.
He really is. That guy is just genius for real.
Is this the link you were looking for? bewell.allylifeglobal.com? I put it up on the screen.
Yes, there you can find any of the technology that I shared with you, guys. Also, I sell the ionic foot detox. It's an analog machine, so my machine is not like one you'd buy on, say, Amazon. You're not going to get a detox. The analog actually has the actual. So our body's made of electric and magnetic. So what happens is when your feet are in the water. And you put let me show you.
Thanks, Jason, for getting the links. That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm not going to pull out the ionic deep, the actual machine, because it's heavy. I mean, I could, but it's not necessary. It's just a machine. You plug this in. This is the machine only sends the electricity to what's called an array, and the array is this. So you plug the array into the machine, and then it has steel plates. The steel plates with the electric going into the wiring create ions, negative ions, which are very important. It's like walking on the beach 1,000 times over. It's so good for your body.
Wow.
And then I also have, so you put your feet in the water and it sends an electrical current to your organs, and it causes your organs to vibrate. It's not a pull. There's people out there saying, oh, it's, pulls toxins out of the body. It doesn't. It attracts them out, right? Yeah. It vibrates. Some people can feel the vibration. It's subtle, but some people that are in tune with their body can feel it. And then I have also the BAMA. The BAMA's in the back of my bedroom because I sleep with it at night, but it creates ions in the air, which is really good.
That's amazing.
And if anybody lives in Jacksonville and wants to do a session with me, just contact me on Soulful Synergy. I think that link is in so there, I gave them all my links. Also, I sell liquid zeolite. Liquid zeolite is absolutely amazing. All my clients are on it. Their blood work comes back better. My blood work is amazing. I feel good. Liquid zeolite comes from volcanic ashes, and it smothers the heavy metals and the other toxins in the body and pushes them out through your waist tract. It's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, I'll be here for the rest of my life. I mean, they're chemtrailing or chemparticling. It's called chemparticles, but we call it chemtrail for those that know what I'm talking about. So people that live, I live in a pretty decent apartment, but this is still considered low income, so to speak, right? They base it upon your income, how much you make. But I mean, I have a beautiful apartment. I mean,
it's really
not
nice.
like it's, yeah. But at the same time, they spray over low income areas more than they do other areas. Did you know that?
Yeah, they want to make people crazy, and people that are lower income are already in a bad mood, so they get into their mind, and it makes people commit crimes and shit. You know what I mean? I really truly believe that. You know?
Well, it makes them sick. So I took Prince out to go for a walk this morning. I wasn't even outside 2 minutes, and my whole left side of my body hurt behind my shoulder blade, and I had to do some deep breathing while I was walking. Even though I was breathing it in, it did help, and it made the pain go away. As soon as I came inside, I wasn't in pain anymore. Yeah. It's just, we have to do things to help our body.
Yeah.
And to emotionally get grounded and to understand that everything you think isn't real, right? Because people have really bad thoughts. Yeah. Be able to decipher what's true for you and what's not. Because we're bombarded with technology around us. I mean, just being when you live in an apartment, you're sharing electricity through all these apartments, and then all the Wi-Fi that's in like my neighbor where I lay my head, there's just a wall between me and my neighbor. If their Wi-Fi is right by that wall, I'm going to experience. So I put, like you can get it from, by the way, Christopher Jacobs on his website. He sells the little pucks. I forgot what they're called. The organite, not organite, but I forgot the name of it. It's anyways, he sells these little, they're like $5, and I put one under my bed. I put them around my house just to keep the frequency, and then I keep different metaphysical tools I have everywhere. But I'll tell you what really well. Can I just show you one thing? And then we got to go because you have another show. So I do other things also, Rob, besides ionic detox and the P90, the PMF therapy. So Dr. Amir, well, it was before I met him. I had bought these and then I met him and it was like, okay, or maybe it was after, I can't remember, but I worked at the Spirit Fest as a vendor doing the ionic detox or the P90, and I ended up buying this Vajra and the Bell. And this thing, if you just listen.
Oh, that's really clearing. Wow, that cleared me out right away.
Big time. Bells are powerful. And then also, drumming is the only, well, think about it. Every culture uses drums. Every culture. It will clear your space big time, and it's super healing. And then also rattle.
Where do you get those at? Where do you get that at? The bell.
What?
That bell that you just rang. Where did you get that?
You can order a Vajra and the Bell online, but I got it from an actual Tibetan, a Buddhist.
Can you do that one more time? That was really powerful. Can you do that one more time?
Yes. Wait.
Yeah, that's amazingly clearing. That's amazing.
You hold this in the right hand and you just let it. I should have got a smaller one because this one's kind of heavy, but you can get them smaller, but you just hold it. So this is the masculine and this is the feminine. So what I do after I do sessions with my clients, I have them stand up and I have them do it 3 times and they hold it and I feel it vibrate through my whole body. And it balances the left and right hemisphere. Very good for you.
Yeah.
That's why they pull the bells off the churches. It's very healing. They don't want to send those kinds of frequencies out to people.
Yeah.
So this, and then, just different. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a shaman by no means. I wouldn't claim that. I'd love to learn more, but I do some, and I don't really like to give myself labels, but I guess if I was to call myself anything, it would be a mystic, right? I don't need anything between me and the divine, which is really your soul self. People say my higher self. That is who you are. It's your soul self. When your soul self speaks through you, you know it because it's very clear, loving communication, right?
Yeah.
But back to the question, what can people do? First, just take time out for yourself. Don't rush into anything. Allow yourself to process the information. If things are scary, if you're having memories that are scaring you, and some of us do, I mean, I went through that, right? Find somebody that you truly can confide in. And then if you want a reading, I highly, highly recommend Dr. Amir Jahangari, Sean Bonner, Christopher Jacobs, and I'm sure there's plenty of others out there that are amazing too, but those are 3 that I've worked with that have helped me tremendously. And I don't just allow anybody to have access to me. So I don't just allow anybody to work on me. I'm very particular about that because I've made, I wouldn't call it a mistake. It was a learning, every choice we make is either going to, not either. We're going to learn something from it, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
Depending on our perception of what positive or negative is. But I just, I've really enjoyed doing the show with you today, Rob. And I hope you guys look at my website and consider, and if they have financing. I mean, the machine costs $2,000. That sounds like a lot, but those that buy that are into PMF, some are spending $5,000 and $10,000. You're not going to, for the price point for this machine and what it does for you. I've healed people have done. I have a client that had Raynaud's. She took the COVID or the jab.
Yeah.
And her foot was black. They had to amputate her toe, and they told her it was from taking the jab. They amputated her toe. I didn't meet her until after. She did 3 sessions with me. It's cleared up, gone.
Wow.
Yes. And I've had people that had, like, if you have surgery or you have any, and then that device also comes with what's called a Revitalux wand, which helps hair growth. It has red light and PMF in it. It just makes you feel amazing. And then it has what's called the beauty wand, which I haven't been using, but it tightens up your skin and gets rid of the abductees, although I haven't been doing it because I've been busy with other things. But eat healthier, drink lots of water. You know, if something's triggering you, sit still, do some shadow work. Ask yourself, why is this triggering me? You know, and do your best not to, you know, if you're looking to be right, then you're going to be challenged. But if you're looking to understand, you're going to have a better experience on this planet, right? Because everybody has different perspectives. So being understanding is very important. Wow. That doesn't need to be a pushover and, you know, but find yourself a good group of people that you can build with and grow with and hold each other accountable. I have a handful of women that I work with that we all hold each other accountable. And I've been falling short big time lately because I've had a lot of my own. I just feel like I went through a tower moment, and that's okay. Because even in tower moments, something good comes from it. You learn. That's where wisdom is gained, through experience, not through a book. Rob, you're amazing, and I really appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to allow me to come on your show, and I hope your listeners enjoyed listening.
And I have your YouTube channel up on the screen here. It's YouTube at Cosmic Rua 8, right?
Yeah, I haven't done any since Miles, Brian, and I used to do shows together. I had Dr. Amir on for a while, and I haven't done anything. I just, I don't know. I'm kind of going through a phase where I'm not sure what I want to do, what I want to create next. I don't know, but I'm not invested in the way you are, and I think I commend you for that, because it takes a lot of hard work, and dedication. And you're doing a great job, and you're reaching the hearts of many and people. We all love you, Rob. I mean
that means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, we all love you, Rob. We want to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed. And, you know, I'm hoping that Brian and I will come back together and we'll have another conference this year. But as of right now, I don't, you know, things are up in the air. But things will be very different if we do. I'm sure it will. So. Yeah.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you so much, Aida. And guys, I'll be live again. I have Soma Rock coming on in a few minutes. And thank you, Aida.
Thank you, Rob.
Until next time, guys.